Sorry, I had some technical difficulties. I know that's very unusual for us.
So we're having some ongoing issues with Facebook and Wi-Fi cooperating properly to do the show. We're not really sure what the problem is. We've looked into a couple different ways to address it, none of which seem to be working. So we're going to keep trying to address the issue, and until then, if everybody just wouldn't mind just bearing with us a little bit.
Yep.
So anyway, we're back. So we are going to start again just because we do have people that come back in and watch after the fact, and we did delete the old post. So we want to make sure that we have a clean copy of everything on there. We're not super far in, so and go ahead.
Do you want to do the race part first?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So tomorrow is our third scheduled virtual run Disney event, but we are going to reschedule it because they are calling for rain tomorrow morning. So we are rescheduling to Sunday, same time, same place. So Sunday at 8:00 a.m. at Castor Park in York, Pennsylvania. So please come, everyone, enjoy the time with us. Run, walk, crawl, jog, bike, scoot, however you want to do your 5K.
Yep. And then back to the top of the news items. Yes. Jingle bell, jingle bam.
Jingle bell, jingle bam. I'm not as bammed now. Jingle bell, jingle bam is coming back for 2017 holiday season. Very, very fun show to go to. But they announced the dessert party, and with a dessert party ticket, your seats will be right in front of the Chinese theater, it sounds like, and you'll have a very clear view of Jingle Bell Jingle Bam, which shows projections onto the Chinese theater, all Christmas themed, your classic characters with classic songs, and they have snow, and it's a lot of fun. My family and I attended the Jingle Bell Jingle Bam, not the dessert party, but just went to go see the show, and I must say, I wish we would have gotten there a little bit earlier because our view was not that great from standing way back, almost around Hollywood and Vine area, if you're familiar. So we had dining reservations at Hollywood and Vine a little bit later. Had we gone earlier to dinner, we would have definitely took a closer spot. Yeah, for sure. So the pricing for the dessert party from November 9th to December 15th is $79 for adult and $45 for a child, and it includes tax and gratuity. And from December 17th through the 31st, it's $89 for adults, $49 for children. So, oh, and I thought of you. They're having savory items at the dessert party.
Oh.
Yes.
Cheese plate?
Cheese fondue.
Oh.
And pretzels, which I love soft pretzels.
Awesome.
Love me a soft pretzel.
See, now there I would consider doing a dessert party.
So
I just can't.
Cheese fondue for Holly.
Like one thing sweet is good, and then I'm done. Like I can't do the 17 different kinds of cupcake. That's
yes. So sweet and savory, and like I said, I saw the cheese fondue and I thought of Holly. So.
Did you go next? Yeah, you went next on them.
Okay. And another news item this week: Walt's one-man stream at Hollywood Studios. They're still going to have the historical facts and items in the museum area, I call it. But
okay.
I know Holly's not very happy. But they're also going to have concept art, ride vehicles, and actually models of
Star Wars Land from D23 is actually headed there soon, and then
Model Toy Story
Land should be coming momentarily, and they better hurry because if they don't get it up, if they don't get the model up soon, the land will be open,
right?
And then you can just go walk through the big model.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now I did see in the article that I read, they did say that they're going to show movie previews and they're going to have character meet and greets.
Yes,
but they are going to alternate it with the original film for One Man Stream.
Good. See.
So, all is not lost. At least there's like some guarantee that the film is going to be there some of the time. So I guess it'll be okay.
Hi, Howard.
Yeah. So,
but there's a lot of exciting changes coming to Hollywood Studios. So I thought it was neat that, especially if you go to Disney, say every other year, and say you're not going to be able to be there for Toy Story Land next year, you still be able to see a really nice model of it, or Star Wars Land.
Right. And then kind of get the buzz and know what everybody's talking about. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
all right.
I'm excited about it.
I'm glad. Let's see. Do I have anything that's Disney World? Yes. Ellen's Energy Adventure and Great Movie Ride are closing. I believe both are this weekend. When Ellen's Energy Adventure closes, Mission Space will be coming back online. So Epcot is dropping one attraction and gaining a new attraction. Well, not really new, but regaining an old attraction.
That's a smart move.
Yeah. Great Movie Ride, on the other hand, is just closing to leave a space for Oblivion until the new ride comes out. So there's yet another attraction in Hollywood Studios is going down.
They're doing a big revamp. It'll be open before you know it.
Here's the thing. It's unless they're ready to blitz that sucker and have it open in 2 months, which I doubt's going to happen because there's new technology to put in and old stuff to clean out. It's never going to happen. I feel like with Star Wars Land not being open until 2019 and Toy Story Land opening next summer, what would the harm have been in waiting till Toy Story Land opens before you take down yet another attraction in Hollywood Studios? The poor park.
Maybe they're trying to rip the Band-Aid off all at once.
Oh my gosh, they put duct tape over the Band-Aid to rip it off because it's getting tragic over there. I mean, there's still, when I sit down with clients and I talk to them about things that there are to do in Hollywood Studios, and I always caution them, I'm like, just so you know, when you go to Hollywood Studios right now, you're going to have 3/4 of a park, and there are a lot of attractions that are missing that used to be there. So if you remember studios from before, you might be disappointed depending on what you liked there. But then I start naming off all the things that there are to do, and I'm like, well, actually, I mean, if you're a thrill rider, Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster are still open.
Yep.
Even if you have little kids, which is oftentimes, I've talked to a lot of people lately, especially with little kids, who are skipping Epcot altogether. If you're skipping Epcot altogether, well, you've got Disney Junior, you've got Toy Story Mania, you've got Muppet Vision 3D. I mean, there are still attractions over there for families. I mean, you have the Beauty and the Beast show, the Little Mermaid show. Everybody can walk through One Man's Dream. And in a way, the park is still more small child friendly than Epcot is. But it's just because such a large percentage of it is closed. It just feels like if you're a frequent visitor, you're going down and you're just like, what's left? Let's close everything.
Well, I was concerned when we went down last year, because that's when everything started closing. But I will tell you, we spent the entire day there, from the beginning, rope drop, until after Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam. We were there the entire day and did something. We were busy the entire day. I think most of that has to do with the fact that there's a lot of shows. So when you have shows,
trying to schedule around them,
you have to schedule around the showtime. So it's not like a fast pass where you are scheduling a time at your leisure. These showtimes are set in stone. You got to be there when they're showing. So in order to make sure you make it to all of the shows that you want to see, it definitely is going to take up some time.
Right. I mean, Hollywood Studios, honestly, we had trips prior to closing Streets of America and the Backlot Tour. We had trips where we'd spent 3 days at Hollywood Studios out of 9. So, I mean, a third of our trip was at Hollywood Studios, a third was at Magic Kingdom, and then the other 3 days were randomly split between the other 2 parks and Disney Springs and pool time. So, I think that's kind of why I find it kind of disheartening, because it used to be such a big part of our experience, and now it's we spend 1 day there, and that's it. So, the variety isn't as great as it used to be. The ability to fill up a day if there's a whole section of things that you don't like. Like, for example, if you're not taking a small child, you're not going to do Disney Junior. You're not going to do... Okay, that's probably the only one that you wouldn't necessarily do. But if you're not into thrill rides and you're not going to do Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror, that's a whole street almost that's closed off that you're not even going to bother with. So you've really got to have... I think you have to have a diverse party to really get the most out of Hollywood Studios anymore.
You don't do thrill rides. So Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster are not for you.
To me, they might as well be closed all the time. I don't care.
But I particularly enjoy the unique character meet and greets at Hollywood Studios, because...
Hi, Tammy.
Of course, your Star Wars characters, select ones, are there. And your Disney Junior characters, which you don't find anywhere else.
That's true. Yeah.
So... Yeah. And the new red carpet Minnie Mouse is super cute.
Right. I mean, I would still go to Hollywood Studios. There wouldn't be, and I can't envision a time where we would go. I mean, unless we're going for like 2 days, you know. But I can't envision a time when we would go for a week and we would skip Hollywood Studios altogether. I mean, I have clients right now who, in fact, I just talked to one this morning. They're going to skip Hollywood Studios altogether, and it's like, wow, really? And they are. I mean, it's just. They're limited to park days, and that's not going to be a park that draws them in at all. So,
but that's also what's good about a Disney tickets is that you don't have to go
if
to
you
all
don't
4
feel
parks.
like a park is a good value for your family, then
Exactly.
you have the option. You can double up on a different park, or change your park days.
Well, we used to feel that way about Animal Kingdom too.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, there were a lot of trips. I think we went to Animal Kingdom every trip. But the first couple of times that we went there, we were kind of like, are we going to give up a whole day to go to Animal Kingdom?
See, we spend more time at Hollywood than we do Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
But now with the Rivers of Light, that would make me stay at Animal Kingdom longer.
And Pandora now.
And now Pandora, yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah.
Just little nuances.
any more news?
Do you have any more?
No more news.
World.
No.
Okay, we're out of news. Okay.
I'm not.
Let's go from world to one more world. Disney Springs, Planet Hollywood has reopened.
Yay.
There's a famous chef, Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
Is now the. I won't say he's actually the chef because the famous chef usually never shows up for work.
He's the brand
He's
on
the brand
the new
on
Planet
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
He's the guy who does diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Oh, okay. Apparently, there's an observatory now in Planet Hollywood, so
that's
it's
cool.
so it's not just the.
Can I see that? I want to go see that.
Enclosed. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. But I just read today that the Captain Crunch chicken tenders are still on the menu, so that's my Disney Springs news item today.
Covering the important Disney news.
Right.
Food, of course.
If you haven't had the Captain Crunch chicken tenders, they are amazing. So stop by Planet Hollywood today and get yours.
I'm just intrigued. I don't know. I have to just go to.
Oh my gosh, they're delicious. I tried to make them at home one time, but I don't do well with like things that you have to bread and fry. I don't know. They all the breading falls off. I don't understand how it works. Like I don't understand the food science behind it. So. It's not something we try to do at home.
You stick delicious on and bake it in.
It doesn't work. It like falls apart. So anyway, speaking of food, moving over to Disneyland, Cafe Orleans has been added as an option for Fantasmic dining. I'm kind of excited about this because like the food at Cafe Orleans, it's a good spot and it's a good value. Somehow the sandwiches at Cafe Orleans have 4 halves. So so like you can get a Monte Cristo sandwich is $20, but you can split it with a friend.
Yes.
Wow.
And I mean,
you should.
You should because otherwise you'll die. Seriously, the sandwiches are amazingly huge.
We don't want you to do that.
No, not a bit because you won't take another trip. No, that was just for fun. Don't freak out. Okay. And lastly in the news, Alani is 30% off for many nights, for 5-night stays or more this fall. And frankly, traveling from the East Coast, if you're going to Hawaii for less than 5 days, there's something wrong with you. Yeah. So you better take a little more time than that.
Yes.
So if you're interested in doing Alani this fall, have some leftover vacation that you're not sure what to do with, and feel like flying to Hawaii, give us a call because we've got some good specials for you. So. And that brings us to our topic for tonight, our actual topic, which is the Disney Wonder.
Yep, we actually announced that at the beginning of the trial run of this Facebook Live, but...
thanks for hanging with us, guys. Really. I don't know. These technical issues are daunting some days.
Does that mean I get to go router shopping?
Go anything shopping that will get this podcast on the air at the right time.
All right.
Y'all heard it here.
Yep.
I know.
Video evidence.
God, it's recorded now.
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
Well,
I forgot about the camera. So Disney Wonder is our cruise ship this evening. This is the last of
Wonder.
the Wonder. Oh yeah, that's right.
They
They
missed that part.
Yeah. Okay, the Magic and the Wonder are the same size cruise ships. So anyway, the Wonder has some lovely features that Amy's going to extrapolate on a little bit because I'm going to do more of the itinerary side of what's going on here.
So with this being our 4th podcast that is talking about Disney cruise ships, you'll notice that a lot of it is kind of the same, so we're repeating ourselves. So we're going to try not to do that as much because It is.
Because you already heard it. And if you didn't, go back, scroll down on the page, and the rest of our podcast about Cruise Line are on there, so you can fill in the gaps for what's missing.
So, like Holly said, the Disney Wonder is the same size as the Magic, which is what we talked about last week. So it's a smaller ship than your Dream and the Fantasy.
Now, being a smaller ship, though, it does have the 2 staterooms that sleep more than 5 people.
Yes.
There are 2 on the Magic and 2 on the Wonder. So they actually sleep 7. Now, they are the, Royal Concierge Suites, so I've never even priced one of those, but if you're dead set on having 7 people in a cabin, we can make it happen on the Magic and the Wonder.
Otherwise, your limit is 5, no matter how large the room. So, the Wonder is the same as all of the other 3 ships. You'll have your deck parties, which, of course, you'll have your pirate nights, and you dress up as in your pirate outfits.
And if you don't have a pirate outfit to take along, Disney Cruise Line will provide you with a bandana and I think an eye patch. Did they give us an eye patch?
I think it was just a bandana.
Was it just a bandana?
It was just a bandana.
Okay, it's really cute though. It's got a little pirate Mickey on it and it says Pirates in the Caribbean. It's so cute.
Oh, goodness. And of course on the Disney ship, what's a Disney ship without some entertainment? So there are live shows in the theater. The Wonder has Gold Mickeys, which all the other ships have. It also has Disney Dreams, and on the Wonder, it actually has the Frozen musical. So that is something that's different from the other ships. Cause,
right. The Magic was Tangled.
Magic was Tangled.
And the Wonder has Frozen.
Right. So that's a little different.
So if you're shopping your ship by...
Don't say that 10 times.
If you're shopping for your cruise by show...
If you're shopping your ship for show. Those are the ones you're going to
Did I miss cocktail hour?
Yeah, you wouldn't believe what they serve at Tavino these days.
Is that gelato fermented?
It might have been.
Yes, so, and of course, just like on all the other ships, you'll have your character meet and greets, and also first run movies at the Buena Vista Theater.
So, of course, we can't tell you what they are because they change by cruise.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I bet Disney owns them.
Good chance.
Same thing as the other ships. You also have your kids' clubs areas. So you have your Oceaneers Club for the younger children. You have the Edge for the tweens.
And Lab.
And the
Vibe.
Lab and Vibe for...
And it's a Small World nursery? Or was that the larger ships?
Yeah, I don't know about that for the
There's
Wonder
a nursery.
Magic. The Dream definitely has a nursery, but I'm not sure. I guess they do.
I think they do. I'm pretty sure they do, yeah.
And the theming for the Oceaneers Club is Marvel, the same as it is for the Magic.
It is?
That's what the website told me.
I was thinking that they did Star Wars Days at Sea on... Oh, no, that's on the Fantasy.
Yes.
Fantasy is Star Wars Days at Sea.
That's it.
What are we going to do when they have 7 ships?
I don't know.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm still stuck on the Magic. I mean, yeah, the Wonder and the Magic. Okay, so pools. That's my favorite part. So, yeah, Goofy's pool, which is a family pool. All are invited. And you also have the Quiet Cove pool for adults only. Now, the part that I'm interested in, the Aqua Lab...
The water slides.
Double looping.
Looping this way, right?
Looping
Not looping this way.
No. Double looping, water slide. You must be 38 inches to ride.
Now, it's not the same as the Aqua Dunk, right? It
No.
doesn't like drop you down
No.
a tube and
No.
to certain death.
No, it does not.
That's good.
Stop saying certain death on the podcast. We want these people to get on the ship.
And it also has a 400 square foot splash deck for children 3 and under. And if you go online and look at the photos, it looks so cute because it's themed after Donald Duck's nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And so they're all playing around and splashing around. They have, buckets of water dumping out, and it looks really, really cute.
That sounds
Super
awesome.
cute.
Yeah, that's.
So that's a lot. That's. I think that was really cool how each of the ships do have a different water park area.
Right. So
They're all themed a little bit different.
It's a good reason to try all 4 ships.
Yeah. Exactly.
And as we'll get to in the itinerary in a little bit more detail, you can actually try all 4 ships in the Bahamas and Caribbean. So it's not necessary for you to fly to the West Coast or fly to Europe to try the Wonder or the Magic because they do come back into the Caribbean at different points of the year.
Yeah.
So.
Food.
Food time.
Yes. So food's a little bit differently themed as well, in a way. So you still have your rotational dining, 3 different restaurants, which Animator's Palette, which is the same on all 4 Disney cruise ships.
Well, we think it might be different on the various ships based on, we haven't been on all of them yet, but based on the pictures that I'm seeing, the one on the Dream is definitely more of a Turtle Talk with Crush meets dinner.
Right.
Versus the others look more like they're about the color that comes into the dining room during the meal.
Right.
So.
It's still kind of the same idea.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit similarities, but they're not
right. Still animation
identical.
Focused. Yeah. Still very animation focused.
Then there is Triton's Restaurant and Tiana's Place, which I would love to see.
That's what I want to go.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I love Tiana. She's one of my favorites. Cabanas, which is the same on all 4 ships, and Cabanas is your buffet style breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yep.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Lots of food. I don't even know what to say.
Lots of variety. Just wide variety, and
if you can't find something you like on that buffet,
yeah. And
I don't know what to tell you.
2 words: bacon trough.
And once again, we haven't done a lot of Disney Cruise. We did it to sample it just because it's a product that we sell, so we needed to know about it. But as far as having in-depth experience, we're still in the process of acquiring that. So this may or may not, be the case across the board, but I'm thinking it probably is. The food at the buffet on the Disney cruise ship, everything looked just as premium as it looks in the dining rooms.
Yeah.
We didn't taste absolutely everything because I don't necessarily like absolutely everything, but everything that we did taste, everything tasted fresh. It tasted prepared to the proper food standards, etc. And I know you're saying like, well, of course it had better. It's a public dining facility, but I can't say that with confidence about other cruise lines ships in entirety. So we have had some
questionable buffet experiences.
Seriously questionable buffet experiences on other cruise lines. So.
And with the cabanas, it was consistent throughout the trip. It wasn't like, well, this is day 1 smoked salmon, and this is day 4 smoked salmon.
That was one of the things we found on a different ship that wasn't quite up to par.
Up to snuff, yeah.
I haven't eaten smoked salmon since.
I know. It's great.
Another quick service option on the Wonder is Daisy's Delights, and I just think that's such a cute name.
It's adorable.
And you can find salads, sandwiches, and wraps. And if it's anything like the Dream, I'm just trying to envision it. It's like different windows where on the Dream you could find pizza and hot dogs, and burgers. I think here you would find salads, sandwiches, and wraps. And then of course there's got to be pizza somewhere, so there's Pinocchio's Pizza on the Wonder too. So.
It's kind of nice, like they brought Pinocchio's Village House and put it on the boat.
I don't think I got to eat pizza when we were on our Disney cruise.
I don't think you did.
Wow.
I mean, it was there for the taking. I'm not sure why you didn't go get some.
I don't know either. Anyway.
Pinocchio's Village House is Olivia's favorite at Disney World, so I'm sure she would enjoy that.
Yeah.
And then one item that's a little bit different on the Magic and Wonder as compared to the Dream and the Fantasy is that there's only one adult-only restaurant, and that is Paulo's. Whereas on the Dream and Fantasy, you'll find Paulo's and Remy. On the Wonder Magic, you will only find Paulo's. So, and unfortunately, no children in that dining area. So.
Clubs, lounges.
Oh yes.
I got it. Don't worry.
Good. Crow and Savannah.
We're on the 4th ship. We finally got the division of labor right.
So,
just in time for the 3 new ones to come out.
All 4 ships have it's called the D Lounge, which is at some points in the evening apparently can turn into a more adult space. I don't think during the time that we spent on the Dream it actually did, as far as I could tell. Or I mean, I don't go down and drink in the lounges till 2 a.m. So that I mean, maybe it does like late, and I just missed it. But as far as I could tell, that stayed family friendly the whole time. But there are some lounges that are adults only, and they would be the Crown and Fin, which is a traditional British pub style establishment. The Cadillac, which does have a car theme, but is supposed to be not so over-the-top car themed that it's, anybody would go in and have an enjoyable time. And then the Azure, which actually transforms based on the event that's happening in the lounge.
Ooh, that's
so,
cool.
Apparently it's a very white palette, and they do different things with projections to make the room what they need it to be. So, I don't know, right? We better book a cruise on the Wonder. I actually almost did for January. Like, I was thinking about, because I wanted to go someplace with my dad, and turns out we're going to Disneyland. But I was actually thinking about doing a Southern Caribbean out of San Juan and booking the Wonder, and I didn't. So I asked him where he wanted to go, if he wanted to do a cruise, and he cruises all the time with Mom. So I think he was kind of like, well, let's do something different that's not a cruise, because I do that all the time. So we're doing Disneyland instead. Nice. As far as itineraries on the Wonder is going to be your ship that sails Alaska, Panama Canal, and Southern Caribbean. So if you're interested in any of those destinations, currently, you're going to be on the Wonder. Now, once the 3 new ships come out, we'll see how they play into the mix. But for now, that's pretty much it. So just kind of a rundown of how that schedule works out. I'm going to start from September, when the Wonder starts making its way back from Alaska. So there's a 4-night Vancouver to San Diego. The only stop on that itinerary is Victoria. So these repositioning cruises, anytime that a ship is changing their location that they're going to start sailing out of, it's a really good time to be able to jump on and get a cruise that's not super expensive, but is going to have a lot of fun days at sea. So you're not getting very many port stops on this option, but on a Disney cruise, honestly, the port stops become like, oh, did we stop somewhere? I'm having so much fun on the boat. Which brings up another point as far as value. It's a little bit more expensive to take a Disney cruise than it is to take some of our other providers, but you also have the fact that you don't have to book excursions. You can stay on the boat and have a good time, which also takes the caring about what the destination is off the table.
And again, no casinos on the Disney boat, which is why they are more expensive. They don't make any money off you in a casino somewhere. Right. So if you don't like casinos and you don't care about gambling, it might be the boat for you.
Whether you've got kids or not. We have no children. We love Disney Cruise Line. Yeah. So,
honestly, like we said before, like first day, few kids around. Second day, never saw them.
Nope. Yeah, we're taking a Royal Caribbean in September because it's another brand that we sell, and just I try to travel on all of our brands because I want to know what we sell. I want to see it first person. I want to be able to tell you about it. So we are gonna go and do a Royal, but I can tell you the cruise is coming up, and I'm like, man, that's on Royal. I wish we were taking a Disney boat.
Yeah.
So it is what it
is.
There's
no Disney boat in our future until at least 2019. If
no,
then
2018.
Oh, that's right. We are doing 20. Okay, yay.
How'd you forget? Goodness. So anyway, once the Wonder gets from Vancouver to San Diego, then it does a couple of itineraries from San Diego, and it does 2-night and 5-night, stopping at Ensenada on the 2-night, excuse me, and Ensenada and Cabo San Lucas on the 5-night. Then it does a 7-night Puerto Vallarta, Mazatlan, and back to San Diego. And then it does a 4-night, a 3-night, a 5-night, a 2-night with the Ensenada, Puerto Vallarta. So basically you're hitting the Baja California, Baja Mexico coasts out of San Diego, back and forth. And that is happening through the end of October. So that's mid-September through end of October. Those are all Halloween on the High Seas cruises. The last Halloween on the High Seas is coming back. It is the 14-night Panama Canal. So that comes from San Diego, goes to Cabo, Puerto Vallarta, then goes through the canal, then goes to Cartagena, Georgetown, Cozumel, and then finishes in Galveston. And then the Wonder will continue to port out of Galveston for a while. It goes, I guess, until it repositions in San Juan. I think it ports out of Galveston. And then you have 7-night itineraries for Mickey's Very Merry Cruise. Those are all coming out of Galveston, and they're alternating between a Key West, Castaway Key, and Nassau itinerary, and a Cozumel, Georgetown, and Falmouth, Jamaica itinerary. So those run through the end of the year. Then there's one 4-night to Cozumel, which is kind of random. And then from Galveston, there's a repositioning cruise. So this is happening about, January 9th or 10th of next year. Is about the time frame when you would see that repositioning cruise happen from Galveston to San Juan. So once again, a really good way to grab a couple of nights. This particular one stops in Jamaica. So if you would fly to Texas, stop in Jamaica, end in San Juan, have a couple days on the boat. It's a good time. Mm-hmm. Then they start running the Southern Caribbean itineraries, and they hit ports like Curacao, St. John's, Castres, Basseterre, and mostly 7-night sailings. Then they start hitting the Bahamas again and alternating it with Eastern and Western Caribbean. So they do such a variety of itineraries on the Wonder that are, Caribbean, Bahamas, like,
it's a wonder.
The Wonder, the Wonder is actually the ship that has the most Caribbean and Bahamas ports, because they're the only ones that do any Southern Caribbean itineraries, and they also do a Bahamas and an East and a West Caribbean itinerary. Wow. So if you're looking to hit everything in the Caribbean, you could actually do it completely aboard the Wonder, with back-to-backs or doing, a cruise every year, pick a different time frame, etc.
That's cool.
Although I would recommend check out all of the ships because they're all amazing. So give yourself some variety there. February is alternating between, it's a 3-night Bahamas, and then it's 4 7-night Caribbean, then it goes at east to west, east to west. Then in April, we go back through the Panama Canal. So November to the very beginning of April is when you're going to find the Wonder tooling around in the Caribbean and hitting the Bahamas, mostly porting out of Galveston and San Juan. It does port out of Port Canaveral for a couple of itineraries, which is kind of crazy because the Dream and the Fantasy are already there. Yeah. So, like, Port Canaveral, February and March, you have, spring break, you've got your pick. You can get pretty much any of the boats. Going back through Panama Canal, that happens on April 8th next year, which that'll obviously vary based on the year. And then there are 7 San Diego 2 to 5 night cruises. So if you're thinking about being on the West Coast, if you're thinking about doing a springtime Disneyland trip, and you're interested in doing, there's actually a Disneyland itinerary where you can do an open mouth itinerary and end up in San Diego for the last 2 or 3 days of your trip. You could add on a short San Diego cruise to go with it and really make a complete vacation out of it. That's an option that's out there. Then starting from the beginning of May, on the beginning of May, there's another repositioning cruise, and this is the one that takes the ship up to Vancouver to start the Alaskan itineraries for the summer. So it's going to port out of San Diego, it stops in San Francisco on the way up, and Victoria, and then ends in Vancouver. So you could either use that as a repositioning. Stopping in San Francisco is amazing. That's actually the only time that a Disney boat stops in San Francisco next year.
No way.
So this is like your one and only shot on a Disney boat to see that port. And like I said, that's May 16th, that cruise. So you could go all the way up the coast and then continue on to an Alaskan cruise if you like, because then they start the 7-night itineraries. There are 7 7-night itineraries in a row. So basically every week for 7 weeks that ship's going out starting May 21st. Then there's a 9-night Alaska and then a 5-night Alaska. And what you're really getting there, on the 5-night, you're getting, I believe you lose 1 port and the shortened port stop times. And on the 9-night, you're getting a little bit longer time in port and more time at sea. They're not adding any ports. There are no additional ports on the 9-night that aren't on the 7-night. And then you have 7 more 7-night itineraries in Alaska before the ship comes back and does its repositioning, Panama Canal, and back to the Caribbean.
So that's the only time a Disney ship stops in San Francisco next year.
Next year.
On our California Coast cruise, which was not Disney, it was kind of rocky. Do you think maybe that's why they don't do that? Like if they stay to the south near Baja, maybe it's calmer waters?
It might be. That might be a lot of the reason.
Yeah, and
they have to do the repositioning cruise, because otherwise they can't get the boats back and forth.
Yeah, so might as well stop off in San Francisco. But
right. But I'm kind of wondering because the Wonder used to do their repositioning itinerary was Alaska to Hawaii. And then it was like 4 ports in Hawaii and terminated in Honolulu. And then I think they did a one-way Honolulu to San Diego. And that was how they got back down the coast in September before they went to the Panama Canal cruise. So,
how awesome was that?
Yeah, amazing. Actually, I booked someone on that cruise as a 25th anniversary, and they had the most splendid time. It was 5 days at sea.
Oh my gosh.
And I was so nervous for them because they'd never cruised before, and they're getting on a boat that's going out in the Pacific Ocean for 5 days in a row. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, I hope you're okay. Yeah, but they had a blast. They
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, and then they went to Honolulu, and then when flying home, they stopped in LA and went to Disneyland for a couple days. So
that sounds
as you do.
Dream trip.
That sounds like the perfect trip.
Yeah. If you're going to Hawaii, like if you're taking us up on this Alani 30% off thing, like seriously consider stopping at LA on the way home because
it's a good way to kind of adjust your clock.
And to not have a straight through flight and get home and be like, what day is it? I don't know. So
that's good advice.
Yeah, that's all I have on the Wonder. You have any other?
That's all I have on the Wonder.
Do you know anything about the Wonder?
I don't. I want to go there.
Me too. Yeah. I was actually really disappointed they canceled that Hawaii itinerary.
So if it's rotational dining, and if it's animator's palette, does that make it a carousel of color?
The world is a carousel of color.
That was the lamest Disney joke ever, but I've been thinking about it ever since you mentioned that. So I had to put it in there.
Thanks for adding that. And we do have a fun fact tonight.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I keep a spreadsheet of these things, and I'm going to have to refer back to it real quick here because I didn't look at it earlier today when I should have. So let me just pull that up. Is anybody still with us?
We've got one person hanging on. I'm guessing Howard.
Hi, Howard.
Hi, Howard.
And Leah.
What's
his question?
Oh, he was talking about the router. I didn't want to derail the conversation any more than it already had with the one technology failure.
Oh my gosh. It seems like every week lately. I don't even know what to do about it.
I don't know if it's Comcast or if it's a router or what. So I have plans. I mean, like, you give me a budget that's big enough, I'll fix the problem.
How big does the budget have to be? Goodness. Oh,
Depends on how thoroughly you want the problem fixed.
Oh, this is a great one because it's about pirates, and we're talking about cruising. So, Pirates of the Caribbean, of course, has the classic song, and now that I said that, you're all humming along at home. So the song was written by Exitensio, who was a very key player for Disney in the 50s and 60s. Did a lot of work with Imagineering, and he wrote the song for Pirates and thought it was garbage. That just thought it was like, oh god, why is people are going to be so annoyed by this song by the time they get out of this attraction, and had no idea how impactful that song was going to be and how much people would hang on to it until he was walking along the beach one day and heard a child singing it. And that was when it hit him that, oh my god, I actually did a really good thing. This was a great song. Because that was a time where there were no YouTube videos. There were no, nobody took a video of their vacation and brought it home because, your camcorder was this big and you weren't hauling it around the park. So literally the only place that child could have heard that song was riding the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction. And the only, it was so ingrained in his head from that experience that he's standing out on the beach, associating the beach with the attraction. So that's the story of how Exitensio learned that Yo-Ho actually is a good song.
Did we learn that on our Adventures by Disney trip?
Maybe.
I think we did. I think that was the story they were telling.
It was either there or it might have been Marceline Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
It was Marceline Magic Kingdom because we were actually at the Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
When they told us that story.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well,
so that's it, guys. We're signing off for tonight.
Remember, race tomorrow or 5K is canceled.
Race will be Sunday.
Sunday,
where we will hopefully have much nicer weather, and we will be back with you next week. With, I have on here choosing an airline, and I feel like I put something else in that place. So we'll be back with you with a new show next week. You have to tune in to find out what it is.
Yeah, it's a secret.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Thanks
night.
for watching.
Yeah.